and you can join us live right now anywhere you are in the world. You can reach us on Facebook and YouTube at Nigeria Info FM. We're streaming live there right now. You can do a quick search for Nigeria Info 993, and you can also reach us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. If you want to reach us over WhatsApp, the number is 08095975805, 08095975805, and you can leave us your comments right now. If you're reaching us on Twitter, remember to use the hashtag #MorningCrossfire and tweet at Nigeria Info FM. I'm Wemimo Adewuni. Welcome.
And I am Sheriff Quadry. It's important that you use hashtag #MorningCrossfire because that will determine us to take your contribution on the program this morning. So as we go along, feel free to continue to engage with us on our socials and on WhatsApp, because we'll be going in and out of those socials and WhatsApp portals, so we can have you join us as we start the program this morning. Thank you all for being a part of it. Let's have you know that President of the Nigerian Liquefied Petroleum Gas Association, NLPGA, Nuhu Yakubu, in November 2018 said, let me quote what he said, 3 million people were using LPG in their homes. That's cooking gas, if you like. End of quote. In the same month, it was revealed that the federal government intends to reach about 20 million Nigerian households through its Upgrade to Gas campaign. You should also know that Special Assistant to Minister of State for Petroleum Resources on Refineries, Downstream and Infrastructure, Brenda Ataga, in 2018 said, and I quote her, the federal government was taking drastic measures to ensure each household in the country can afford and have adequate quantity of cooking gas it needs. How the federal government intends to do this is what is still very uncertain. The LPG industry had grown by over 1,000% between 2007 and 2017. In December 2017, only 1.8 million had adopted the use of LPG in their homes. And research has shown that cooking gas is good and cost-effective. How about the inherent dangers associated with it? Aha! Those are the areas we're looking at on the Morning Crossfire this morning.
Well, you should also know that no fewer than 3 persons reportedly got injured in a gas explosion that occurred at 4 Points by Sheraton, Only Lagos Island. Guess when? Yesterday.
Yes, when? Just yesterday.
Yesterday. And the explosion, according to report, occurred when one of the cylinder hoses bought by the welders who were doing a welding job beside the hotel premises had leakage that triggered the explosion, leaving several vehicles in the premises, room windows and other items shattered. In January 2018, there was also an explosion at Magodo, a suburb where about 10 people were found dead. Remember that incident of gas explosion. Now, so more people are being encouraged to use gas in their homes, but we're recording also accidents. Why is this? We have joining us on the show today, Mr. Eso Gumide, the Western Chairman, National Association of Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers. Good morning, sir. Good to have you on the show.
Good morning.
We also have Mr. Basi Essien, the Executive Secretary, also of the Nigerian Association of LPG Marketers. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
And we have here representing the Lagos State Fire Service, the Public Education Officer, Mr. Modu Shakiru. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, listener.
Okay, I need you to speak into your microphone. Can you turn it closer? Okay, there we go. So if you want to ask any questions on the show, we make this as interactive as possible. Head over to WhatsApp 08095975805. So let me start off with Mr. Oguride. And so Nigeria is encouraging more people to use gas in their homes. Let's start by enlightening people. Where does cooking gas come from?
Thank you very much, listeners. And I want to start by thanking and appreciating Nigeria Info for this program. Very enlightening. And I hope people will benefit maximally from what we'll discuss today. Cooking gas is produced in Nigeria. But before this time, a lot of what is produced in Nigeria is being shipped abroad because the consumption level is abysmally low in Nigeria.
Oh.
And until, I think, 2007, when President Obasanjo was the head of state, was the president, the association, my association, which is Nigerian Association of LPG Marketers, we made a lot of case for us to have LPG in Nigeria, because prior to that, there have been incessant shortages of cooking gas. People have to travel to neighboring countries to bring gas through trucking.
Were we not producing it then?
We were producing it then, but because there's a joint venture with between Nigeria, Total, and some other companies, the agreement they had was such that as they produce, it is shipped to the Western world, where gas is in huge usage.
So,
who had these agreements with this IOCs?
Sounds really.
The federal government or the IOCs amongst themselves?
Actually, it was a combination of the IOCs and Nigeria. You see, everybody wanted a situation where they will be able to make maximum benefits from what they produce. And because demand was low in Nigeria, it makes sense to say, let's take it to where it is needed.
And so we bring the money back here, I believe.
But unfortunately, even the little that we now use, we now have to import it from where we have taken
the
it
same
to.
thing we do for petroleum, isn't
How
it?
does that make any sense?
It didn't. And that was why Nigerian Association of LPG Marketers, we put a lot of pressure on government and said, no, this cannot continue. If we produce things here and we need it, and it has been proven that LPG is the cleanest source of energy, and it will solve a lot of other problems like deforestation that we are having, and the negative effects that follow.
Right.
So the government then listened, and the government gave a directive that 150,000 metric tons be made available for local consumption. That was the beginning of the success story.
Was that enough at that time?
At that time, yes, maybe it was, because what we were bringing in before then was not up to 150,000 metric tons. Whereas some other smaller countries around the West African sub-region were using far more in excess of that. But we needed something to start with. And with that taking off, people got encouraged. And a lot of households started using gas with a lot of campaign that we are also doing, and with the support of NLNG, which has been able to now increase what is being brought in from, say, 150,000 metric tons to about 350,000 metric tons. Other stakeholders who also bring in imports.
Do we still ship out the LPG?
We still ship out a large chunk of the LPG that is
till
produced
today.
Yes, we do. The truth is, we may not be able to consume everything that is produced.
Because we have so many.
It makes sense for us to export. But then we should have enough for local consumption.
All right, now that we know where the gas comes from, so we have these IOCs who, with joint partnership, joint venture, we produce this gas, we export, and then we leave a little that we can use, even if it's not enough. So the gas I get in my own house, where does it come from? What's the process? What's that chain before it reaches me?
Yes, like it happens presently. NLNG is Nigerian government's arm that brings gas from Bonny, and we have terminals all over the place. We have about 3 or more in Lagos. We have in Calabar. We have in Port Harcourt. We have in Warri. But NLNG has not been able to get across to all these places. It is just of recent that NLNG succeeded in taking gas to Port Harcourt. And it was because the coastal area is not deep enough to take the large vessels that NLNG has. Now, we've been relying on supplies from majority of the terminals in Lagos, and that would be NavGas, NIPCO, PPMC. But we have discovered that it is still not right for people. Let's say, for instance, they bring gas from Bonny, bring it to Lagos. Bonny to Port Harcourt is short distance. For somebody to now leave Port Harcourt again and come all the way to Lagos to pick the gas, it doesn't make economic sense.
Doesn't.
Because you will spend over 400,000 naira transporting that product alone. That puts additional cost on the end user. Because at the end of the day, the person that is bringing the gas from Lagos to Port Harcourt is going to put the cost of transportation.
In which sorts of vessels is this gas transported?
We have very large vessels that take them in large quantity. But it is also possible to have what we call baby vessels. Baby vessels will be able to take it to all terminals that have maybe shallow draughts, so that they will be able to deliver gas to such terminals, and people will be able to load from there. Talk of Warri, Calabar, Port Harcourt. Of recent, I think about 5,000 metric tons was delivered to Port Harcourt, and it made a lot of difference.
Okay.
Well, I'm still trying to see how much more difference we can make. But let me come to Mr. Essien on this one. So we move the gas from the let's say from Bonicam.
Yes.
Then we ship it. So why don't we move this gas through pipelines? And I know you mentioned PPMC.
I mentioned NLNG. NLNG is the one that brings the gas from Bonny to Lagos.
Right.
So we don't use pipelines to ferry or to move gas.
No, for now we don't, because it's actually from the vessels that which LNG has, where this gas is moved from Bonny to Lagos, and the vessel is quite large and cannot actually access some of the shallow
waters around.
So that's why you mentioned baby vessels.
Okay.
Probably the large vessel could be in the high sea, and these baby vessels go and pick from there, then supply this other.
Isn't it a better option to move gas through pipelines rather than? Isn't there a lot of exposure? I mean,
the way we
and
have
danger
the way
to
we
moving
have petroleum
gas.
pipelines, can't we have LPG pipelines as well?
The point is that even the ones imported from abroad come by vessels. So you wouldn't say those imported from abroad should come by pipelines.
But within the country?
Well, within the country, I think it's possible if petroleum products could be moved by pipelines. I think it should, if we look into it, and maybe probably the cost effectiveness of it right now. And it's for now we're trying to see how to bridge the availability of the product. So it's even the pipelines may not be something that happens immediately.
Right.
With the current situation right now, does it pile up the cost on you, especially you are the marketers? Does it add to the cost of moving these products to the end users?
Of course, definitely, because you buy a product, the cost of transportation is there. Even the wear and tear on the vehicle, it's part of it. So even if you have a truck, if you don't have a truck, you still bear the cost of transportation, which would dovetail into the final cost of the product.
The consumer would have to bear. Now, let's move this up a bit. In April, the DPR, Department of Petroleum Resources, said it will clamp down on illicit retailers of LPG, known as cooking gas, in Rivers State. There have been conversations about where we buy gas from. So usually in Nigeria, I just move the cylinder from my kitchen, put it in my car, maybe in the boot, drive to the closest person selling gas. And in my area, for instance, there are so many of them. In fact, I feel it's luxurious because I don't even have to go out. I just call the guy who comes to pick the cylinder, fills it up, and brings it back home. And they have these long cylinders. There have been conversations about where should we buy gas from? Should gas be sold from cylinder to cylinder? Mr. Essien.
Okay, now, where do you buy gas from? Two places, let me put it that way. First, you have the refilling plants, which you can go straight to the refilling plant with your cylinder and pay, and they refill your cylinder for you. Two, we have what we call retailers. These retailers are the ones that have retail shops. They have cylinders which they take to the filling plants. The plants fill the cylinders for them and they take back to their shops. So what you do is, if you can't have access to the plants, probably it's far away from you, you go to the shops. Go with your cylinder and pay. Ideally, you're supposed to pay for an exchange of the cylinder.
Oh, okay.
You take your cylinder there, pay for the size you're going to buy, and go home with it.
Okay. But that's not what happens. I mean, I take my cylinder and wait for it to be filled.
Now, what happens is that why that is not feasible is that because I own my cylinder, you own your cylinder. Perhaps your cylinder is very brand new, and you take it to such shops. And you see a rickety old cylinder, you don't want to drop yours.
That's right.
No, I wouldn't.
For some better customer service, some of those ones that are very close to plants, they will ask you, could you drop it and come back some time, or we'll drop it in your place. So they quickly pick it to the filling plant, fill and dump in your house for you.
Just to be clear, are you saying it's safe to buy from those shops,
the retailers,
on the streets?
Yes, it's safe to buy from those shops because those shops are ideally recognized and licensed by DPR.
But it appears that not all of them are licensed.
I'm coming to that.
Right.
Now, they have, for them to have those shops, they apply and get a categorization that allows them to do that business.
Mr. Essien,
Yes.
have you seen those ones that don't even have shops?
Hang on, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. So apart from DPR2, they need to have certification from the fire service before they can actually set up a shop.
Thank God we have someone from the fire service here.
Now, like you said, in Nigeria here, a lot of apprentices are in the shops. I open a gas shop, I go to my village, pack about 10 boys and come. The apprentice for me. The moment they are free, maybe you give them that freedom, you open shops for them. And ideally, for every shop that is open, should have his own license. But some of these shops become branches.
Branches.
Okay.
Without licenses. So actually, those shops are ideal for you to buy gas from, because some of us may not be living near plants, but they should be licensed.
Let's talk about the licensing. Thank goodness we have Mr. Modu Shakiri here. He's a public education officer, Lagos State Fire Service. Tell us about this documentation. So right now, I'm so interested in opening a gas shop. I mean, it sells. People buy gas all the time. What documentation process do I need to go through?
Thank you. Like he said, you need the DPR certification first.
Okay.
And then while you have that, you also need the police certification. You also need the fire service certification.
3.
Okay.
You also need in this state, environmental certification.
4.
Which is reside in the Ministry of Physical Planning and then Urban Development.
Okay.
Because in some cases you need an
EIA,
which is the environmental
Impact assessment.
We need to look at this.
Okay.
Now, for the fire service, if you approach us, you must have some of this documentation before we go ahead to even attend to your application. And before we do that, we make sure we visit that environment you want to operate from.
Okay, Mr. Modu, I think I need to move you to the other microphone. That's giving us, if you don't mind, so
Right.
let's switch to this one.
Right. Let me quickly speak with Mr. Ogunrede while Mr. Modu moved. Mr. Ogunrede, let's stick with the gas cylinder and all of that. Recently, there was news about some amount of gas cylinders being destroyed by Standards Organization of Nigeria because, according to them, they failed to meet required standards. How can people know when a gas cylinder is not appropriate? I mean, you can see them. They are well painted and they're looking
look fine,
shining and very beautiful, and you just go there, you pay and pick one up. What gives them away as to when they are not suitable for use?
Basically, every cylinder that is to be imported into Nigeria is expected to have been certified by SON. And the process is such that they go to the country of production. They examine the facilities that are in place for the production of those cylinders.
Okay.
They even took samples, test them, and make sure they conform with standards. It is only then that they give you the authority to import. When you import from that ascertained country or company, they still take samples when the items get to Nigeria to test some of them to be sure that they are not substandard and that they meet the expected requirements. But what we have these days is that you have a lot of people who want to circumvent the laws. They want to circumvent every process. And they just go in there, bring the cylinders. Sometimes they put them in containers and they put different items there.
Right.
When they smuggle it in like that and SON does not have the opportunity of testing and confirming it. No, they have the capability.
Are they capable to check for all of
I
these
think
cylinders?
they are capable. They have instruments that they use in testing them, even right at the post.
Okay.
Because I've worked for a company that imported before.
Okay.
And we had to sponsor some people from SON to go to the country of origin.
Okay.
They stayed there for a while, looked at the processes, tested the materials, and even when they came, they did the same.
Okay.
So, I'm sure in my mind that SON has the capability to do the test and confirm whether they are okay or not. But because of people who want to get rich quickly, They want to dodge all the expenses that are associated with the testing and confirmation. So they smuggle the cylinders in. That does not give SON the opportunity to test and confirm that they are okay or whether they are standard or not. And when they identify such, they are meant for destruction.
Can we recycle?
Many of them also go through tests and they confirm that they did not pass the test. And so it becomes inevitable that they are destroyed so that they don't become time bombs in homes.
And we have many of these time bombs. So what Sheriff was pointing out is some people recycle these cylinders. So what's the shelf life or lifespan? So I know that tires, I can check for expiry dates on tires. So can I check for the expiry date on a gas cylinder?
Okay. If you pick a gas cylinder, if you look at the shroud, that handle where you carry, it's usually printed there when it is manufactured.
Printed or inscribed?
It is printed. Most of the time it's printed.
Embossed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So if you check that and you know the year of manufacture, what happens is that by Nigerian standard, a cylinder has a lifespan of say about 15 years. And you are expected to recertify it during this period. After say about 5 years, let it go for recertification.
What does that mean?
When it goes for recertification, it's like you want to test, is this my cylinder still safe for use?
Who is supposed to do that?
The owner of the cylinder is supposed to take it to test centers that have been established by SON and some other stakeholders.
Where do we have these test centers in Lagos?
It is something that is just developing. I think we have a few in Nigeria.
Mr.
now.
Modu, think we have?
Mr. Modu,
Where
what
do
do you
we
think about
have
these
this?
test centers?
I think majority of the standard refilling plants
Okay.
does that
Can
test.
test.
Yes.
So let's talk about that documentation we were on before we had to move you. So I want to start a gas, maybe at retail level. I need to go through, you mentioned like 4 processes
Yes, sir.
before I can open shop. But we have many, I'm very sure, like Mr. Essien said, those who have become branches. I mean, they just go learn how to fill gas and they open the shop.
Well, the association, the various association, like you mentioned, the Retailers Association, NLMP, because we are always invited to some of their meetings, especially when they are meeting their members to also enlighten them. And some of them are doing, the association, I can say they are doing some things and they are on top of it. But like you said, the cutting corners, the branches, they are a lot. And the public has also a lot to do. It's just unfortunate that in this part of the world, we think the government is just
do everything.
when you work with government or when you are voted in the office or you are in government office, then it's you that is the government. Me that is ordinary citizen is not the government. But that is not the case because the government cannot be everywhere at every point in time.
Some people still fear using gas in their house. What are the safety measures I need to look out for if I'm going to use cooking gas?
Okay, if you are going to use a cooking gas in your first, you must be blessed with that high sense of smelling. Definitely, everybody.
What if I'm not blessed with it?
Hold it.
Or what if I have a cold?
And that's
Hold
true.
it.
It's a possibility.
Hold it. Because everybody have a sense of smelling.
No,
No.
not everybody.
Some, everybody
Not-
has.
not
No,
everybody.
not everyone.
They
I said
offer.
high sense.
Not everyone has a
Mr.
high
Modu.
sense.
No,
We can
every
say
human
most
being.
people.
Mr. Modu,
That's what science
Mr.
made
Modu,
us believe.
No.
I have a friend who is a scientist, by the way.
Who can smell
and
Jack?
his olfactory lobe, his default is very, very defective right now because he can't smell anything. So it's very possible that people don't get to smell things when things are in the
Okay,
atmosphere.
let me say in a house of even 4 members,
At
4
least one
family
person.
members, at least
Yeah.
one person
Yes.
should
Okay.
be able. Okay, why we are saying that? Because these things does smell. Before that danger will come up, you must have sensed it. Because the leakage must be there.
Right.
The circulation of the gas must also be in the air. So if you have that sense, it will enable you to even smell it.
Let me
and
hold
say,
you on that sense before we go on to other safety measures. Mr. Essien, we've heard reports of people who don't smell gas. Everybody in the house can't smell the gas because gas naturally has no smell.
Naturally. In its natural state.
In its natural state has no smell. So what is that thing? I know it's methacan.
Ethyl something?
Well, the
Meth-
point is that
It depends.
gas has no smell naturally.
Right.
But because of the peculiar nature of it, it will have what called stench agents that put into gas that makes it such that it smells and you perceive the odor.
Okay.
So definitely you will perceive the odor.
Is it possible that some person is circumventing this process and not putting these agents in the gas?
No. Any gas that comes into this country passes through laboratory tests and certified before they can even be sold anywhere. So that circumvention, it's out of it.
Who is supposed to add this agent that you're saying, the stench agent? Who is
Where it's been
supposed to?
produced.
Oh, from the source of
From
origin.
the source of origin.
It's part of the production.
process.
So it's
Okay.
impossible that the gas in my own house especially has a problem and just has no smelling agent
No,
because it all came
it's
from
not
the same
like-
No, it's
source.
not.
But
Your
we-
gas must have it.
We have heard this before.
In fact, I read it.
We have heard this before.
Yeah, on social
We've-
media.
We've seen
I think the
videos
situation
before.
is
What
that
happened?
Some people are not paying particular attention to very important details. Take, for instance, somebody that is cooking. He wants to go to work. It is the speed of getting to work that is in his mind. Even when other things are going wrong, he doesn't care. He doesn't pay attention to it. Most gas will smell. But even beyond smelling, there are some precautionary steps that everybody that uses gas must take. First and foremost, when you are using gas, it must be in a well-ventilated area. Why? So that if there is any escape of gas, that ventilation allows it to move
Escape.
out without causing damage
Right.
in the immediate environment.
Right.
Secondly, you are expected to keep your cylinders outside the home. And you now have a hose that links the cylinder with your gas cooker inside.
Right.
3, you are expected to have, no matter how small, a fire extinguisher. Every home is expected to have that. But because the use of gas is just developing, not many people want to go into all these expenses. They don't want to get a fire extinguisher, but we need to enlighten them that it is in their best interest.
Let's go on a very quick break. I know the phone lines would be coming to the phone lines shortly. I'd like to know from the fire service point of view also what it can do when you do have a fire incident. But that will be after this break. We're looking at cooking gas and domestic fires, and we're focusing on that cylinder in your house and how you can prevent it from catching fire. And generally, where does your gas come from? I'm sure you've learned a lot. We have Mr. Esther Guride, who's the Western Chairman, National Association of Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers. Also, Mr. Basi Essien is Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Association of LPG Marketers. We also have from the Lagos State Fire Service, Mr. Modu Shakiru, who's a Public Education Officer. We need you to join us again after the break and leave us your comments on our live feed on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter with the hashtag Morning Crossfire, WhatsApp 08095975805. We're back shortly. I'm Wemimo Adewuni.
And I am Sheriff Quadry.
Hi, my name is Tunji Andrews, and I run the SME show on 99.3 Nigeria Info every Monday at 10 a.m. You see, every second Monday of the month, we have what we call the Pitch It Mondays, where if you're an entrepreneur, you have a business idea, but you need investment into your business, you're able to pitch it to investors who will be with me in the studio. You'll be able to pitch your ideas in 45 seconds or less. And if you can catch their attention, you'll get the critical investment you need into your business. So rehearse what you're going to say, make sure you're able to catch their attention in 45 seconds or less, you might get that investment into your business.
Hi, I'm Tunji Andrews, and this is 1,000 Naira note. To some people, this represents a meal or a few bottles of beer. To other people, this is 4 units of Dangote cement shares or 21 units of GT Bank stock, or the startup capital needed to start that pure water business. Whoever you are and whatever your needs might be, we have you covered on the Money Business and Economy Show on 99.3 Nigeria Info, weekday mornings at 9 a.m. 'Cause it's not really the amount of money that matters. it's usually what you do with it. Cheers.
From your number one talk news and sports station. This is the Morning Crossfire with Wemimo and Sheriff.
Because we all use cooking gas, we continued asking the questions when we were on that break because we also needed to know. But looking at cooking gas and domestic fire, you're welcome back. I'm Wemimo Adewuni.
I'm Sheriff Quadry, but listen, hey, you can also be a part. We want to start taking your thoughts right after now by sending in your tweets. Just make sure that you follow it with hashtag Morning Crossfire. Hashtag Morning Crossfire. It's important you tweet us with that hashtag so we can take your tweet. Any question you've got at all, feel free to do that on Twitter. We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube as well. Nigeria Info 99.3 is what you can search for on those platforms and be a part of our live stream. You can also send your questions and your thoughts as well to our WhatsApp portal. The WhatsApp line is 0809 597 5805. That is 0809 597 5805.
We have questions from there. I'm coming to read them, but let's talk about this fire incident. So, first things, if there happens to be a fire incident caused by gas, what should I do? Pour water over it?
Okay. The safe thing first is this. You find a way to escape. How do I mean? First of all, when you are setting up, like we wanted to, apart from the sense of smell, look, don't doubt it. If you have your gas cylinder inside your kitchen, you are in a suicide mission. I can tell you that wholeheartedly. You are in a suicide mission. For you not to be on the suicide mission, ensure that your gas cylinder is outside. The gas cylinder is not made for indoor use. It is made for outside. It is the burner, the cooker that is made for indoor use. And the idea of camp gas being indoor use also is out of place. The name is camp gas and it is used for camp.
Outdoors.
If you must use it, look, even our parents who are, sorry to say, not educated, they don't dare such careless attitude. Look at coal pots. When they were in use, they were used outside.
That's right.
And that is the best way to use your camp gas.
That's right.
Just, equate it to the coal pot. As uneducated as our parents are, they do not take such careless risk. It is risky for you to even use anything gas indoor. Your cylinder, anyhow, you may not even be building a cage. You may just need a chain to chain your gas cylinder.
If you're afraid that someone can steal it.
Yes, if you think it is prone to stealing.
So now there is a fire. What do I do?
If there is a fire, two things you need to do. If your gas cylinder is outside, the first thing is to run out, like I said, escape, just go to the gas cylinder and shut off the valve. When you shut off the valve, in no time that fire will be out. Because the only fire that will be burning will be fueled by the leftover of the gas in the hose. And once it burns out, Even gas fire, you don't even put it out until it's burn out. Even the most professional, the greatest firefighter will not be able to put out a gas cylinder if the gas is still fueling the fire.
Right.
So the only way to put out gas fire is to, get to the valve and shut the supply of the gas. Now, if you have done that, you also need
is that a possibility?
That is the most possibility. That is the best case scenario.
We're talking about a fire that is raging here. How can
one
get to
in your kitchen?
The cylinder?
The fire is raging in your kitchen. And safety, if you have your cylinder outside, you get outside and shut off.
That's on the one hand. If you have your cylinder inside the kitchen,
I have told you are on a suicide mission.
You run for your life.
You run. There is no two ways about it. The suicide you have been planning all the way
has just happened.
Arrived. So you just run as distance as you could, and you evacuate everybody within that vicinity
and call
while you call for emergency.
Right.
Now, but if you have been able to shut your valve, you just look for your fire blanket. Apart from the fire extinguisher, you also need, every kitchen need a fire blanket. I mean, every kitchen, no matter how small or big that kitchen
What's
is.
a fire blanket?
A fire blanket is a fire retardant material used to cut out fire.
Is it available for sale?
It's available for sale.
In the public domain?
Where?
Yes, in public
Because
domain.
I don't have one in my kitchen. So where can I get
you better do to have
Where
one.
can I get it?
Look, you can have in most safety standard shop, most shops who deal in safety equipment, or better still go to your the nearest fire station to you and just tell them you want a fire blanket. They will get it.
So go buy one.
Now, if you have the fire blanket, you just go, after you shut off your valve, you go inside back, take your fire blanket, spread it out on the fire, on probably the gas cylinder or the cooking item that is on fire. Just cover it.
Okay.
Look, the gas cylinder works this way. The fire
blanket.
If you cover it, it cuts out oxygen.
Okay.
Which
will
also
fuel
aid
the fire.
Does it expire?
Yes.
The fire blanket.
The fire blanket doesn't expire.
Let's go and buy.
Honestly, it doesn't.
And it doesn't burn when you put on the
It's a
fire.
fire retardant material.
So why don't we have it?
So
Maybe
it's a one-off
people
thing.
don't know.
Listen, even as a firefighter, we engage our own fire blanket anytime we go to do fire drill for people, and we make use of it practically every week. And we use one for like even 5 years or more.
Raphael Adegoke on our Facebook page is saying that, and I think this is very important. What is the correlation between gas explosion and phone radiation? That's mobile phone radiation.
So they'll tell you don't receive calls when you're cooking, when you're using gas in the kitchen. Is there a link between this, really?
Basically, I would say not using gas, not using phone call anywhere around gas station or petrol filling station is the way to go. It's a precautionary. It's the way to go.
Especially if
But
you
I
have your
can
cylinder
tell
in
you-
the kitchen.
Yes, it's the way to go. It's
okay.
very, very precautionary. It's very, very safe. But there has not been an established case of.
Let me read
Phone
a
for
comment
fire.
from Atonda Kaide Samuel. Says the incident of gas is not only for fire alone but explosion. When gas cylinder is stressed and overpressured, there is tendency for explosion and eventually leading to fire. So it's dangerous to purchase gas and leave it in the car boot and in the sun for so long. So this moving of cylinders. So I'm coming to the island. I think of buying gas on my way back home. I put it in the car and then I'm moving with a cylinder filled with gas all through Lagos. What am I doing?
Don't put your gas cylinder in the boot.
How do I then get it to the gas
Put
plant?
it on the passenger side behind the driver's seat.
Standing
Put it
upright.
Standing upright. And you can even rest your chair to make sure
Yes,
it is
yes,
tight. So that
It's
the
not moving.
movement, it's not moving. When you even hit the gallop or the portals, it's not moving.
Let's release the phone lines. In case you're joining us right now, you want to be a part of the conversation. Here are the numbers you can call.
Call us on 01-277-0993, 01-277-1993, 01-277-2993, and 01-277-3993. This is Nigeria Info. We are listening.
Okay, let me take some comments from WhatsApp. Now, this idea of calling me Wemimo Lua it looks like
it's catching
you
fire.
guys, it's catching fire. Where is this coming from? Okay, it says, good morning, Wemimo. I'm not going to read Wemimo Lua. Says, so this is, okay, you didn't put your name, but your earlier message shows you're Olatibo Ebenezer from Etegmi. Where is that? I don't know. Says, okay, Ebenezer, I want to ask if we can generate electricity from gas. We've talked about this many times. Talked about that we generate gas in Nigeria,
right?
But we flare most of it. So he's asking conversion of gas to electricity. Quick one, Mr. Grady.
Virtually in all, in all places where electricity is being generated, they use gas to power the equipment that they use.
Turbines.
So the turbines are powered, with gas.
Right.
So gas is very, very useful in generating electricity. However, usage of gas in cooking is even far cheaper than using electricity to cook. That's an established fact. And it is the cleanest source of energy. Now, about the issue of safety, I think we only need to raise the level of awareness. If we will be fair to Nigerians, we must recognize what the ideal is and what is the position.
Please hold that thought. That is a very, very good juncture to take this conversation to another level. But let's talk to Andy Okoro, who is calling us from Ojo. Andy, thank you for holding the line. Andy,
hello, Andy.
Andy, are you there? Oh, we can't hear him.
Sorry about that. And
It's
he's
so
been
sad.
waiting for a
Yes,
while.
for
We
quite
have a
a
comment
while.
from WhatsApp. No name. Why? Says, thank you guys for treating this topic. Although my gas comes naturally from my behind. What does that mean? Like it's outside the house, I assume. Says, and it contains a stench agent which notifies me of any danger. And if any danger, I have my extinguisher stored to tackle it. That's very good. We also have another from Mutanda, who says, I bought a new cylinder and before purchasing I asked the dealer about expiry date and he got mad at me. So on my way back I stopped at the gas station to fill it and dropped it at home. I left for Lekki. Before coming back it was empty.
Oh.
He said, I never smelled the gas and there's an SON stamp on it. What happened, Mr. Essien?
Okay. I think it has to do with the valve.
What could have caused that?
Happened there?
Maybe the guy was not careful enough to check the valve.
Okay.
Sometimes you have even factory errors that could make a new cylinder to leak, because there is a valve that is supposed to be the source through which gas comes out.
Right.
But only when you have put a regulator, that is the ideal situation. But when there is factory error, even when you have not put a regulator to bring out the gas, you can perceive smell or you can see gas leaking around the valve.
And sometimes
When
if you pay attention, you can see these gas fumes, right?
Yes, you can see that, and sometimes you can even test. If you put a little water around those sources and there is a bubble, it shows you there's a leakage.
And there is also this rubber material around the valve area.
Yes.
That's the rubber he's talking about, because even if you go to the filling plants, by the time they fill your gas for you, it doesn't cause them. Ask them, you want to be sure. They always have water on that thing. When there's bubble, then you show that thing is leaking. Then that small rubber will be changed for you at no cost.
So you should check this every time you go to fill your
exactly.
gas.
These are some things that you should check. You check for the valve. You also check your hose. I've seen instances where rats eat up part of the hose, and through that leakage comes.
Oh wow!
But if you check regularly, just put a sponge in a soapy water.
Right.
Rub it around your hose.
Around the hose.
Once you notice a bubble, then there's a leakage.
Edwin, good morning to you.
And equally to add to that
good
too.
morning.
Please, let's take this comment. Good morning, Edwin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I want to find, what about all these gas cylinders that you have the burner on top? How does that equate with what I've been hearing about not putting the gas cylinder in the kitchen or anywhere near?
The camp gas.
Which one? Isn't that a camp gas?
That's a camp gas.
That's a camp
Edwin,
gas.
you're talking about camp gas, right? The ones that you have,
You can put your pot right on the cylinder. Yeah, what they've just said is you should use it outdoors, not in the kitchen.
Outside the home, not inside.
but they put the burner on top.
Yeah, but because
So-
it's meant for camp use.
You probably need to construct something small outside the apartment and cook there, not inside the apartment.
Maybe when you need to cook, you move it to the back of your kitchen and use it outside. When you're done, you bring it back in. And I know people are saying,
Edwin, thank you. Mr. Guride, let me take you back to that juncture that you stopped the other time. But hey, I think we have Andy Okoro back on the line. Let's see if he can talk to us now. Andy, good morning to you.
nah, there's something up
Andy
with that
can
line.
talk to us. So you stopped at ideal situation
Yes.
and the abnormal situation.
The ideal situation, like we've been told, is to put the cylinders outside and connect the burner through hose. But the true situation in Nigeria is that not many people have that luxury of space
And not many houses are built.
to accommodate that.
Well, talking about ideal situation, is it even ideal at all to be using cylinder? In some times they run pipes, from public infrastructure straight to the home. Mr. Daud Amadou.
Okay, because we are not there. Gas is safe to use if you just follow the safety. And look, there is no compromise to safety.
Okay.
It's better to be safe than to be sorry.
Right.
So if you must use gas, you must put your cylinder outside, whether you have the luxury of space or not.
So that you don't embark on a suicide
in the
mission.
topmost floor of a 7-story building, and you think you don't have space on your floor to put it.
Right.
Put it on the ground floor. Look, the hose is not, listen, the hose is not as expensive as even the cylinder itself. How much hose do you want to run to your flat? Safety is no compromise.
I like where you put
Gabriel,
that.
we can't hear you. Please try the other line, all right?
Let me
we
read some
can't hear you.
comments from WhatsApp. We have loads of them. Ed G here says, good morning, Sheriff and Wemimo. Your guest is missing out the fact that the gas we buy these days, most of the time, do not have any smell. That's what I was saying. But you insist that they all have smells.
They all have smell.
But they're saying that there's no smell. So is it that their noses are no...
Okay, let's take away this smell issue now. One thing we are talking about setting up is the smell we hate you, but it's not the safest thing. Now, if you are setting up your gas in the morning or any time of the day, ventilation is the key word. You get into your kitchen, throw your kitchen door open, throw your kitchen window open. Because at that point in time, if there is any gas that has been leaking, that has saturated, if the air mix with it, the danger won't be as much as you have it concentrated
in one space. Let's move it quickly. I want to see as many messages as possible as we can.
Please. Andy Okoro has been trying for forever. Andy, finally, I think we can talk to you now.
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I have this observation.
Okay.
A woman bought a gas cooker from me. That is a full gas cooker that has oven.
Okay.
When she got home, she don't know how to operate it very well. She now put her food on top of the gas. And then, unfortunately, the sun also on the oven without igniting light in it. So when the oven starts passing out the gas as if there is something in it, and for a long time, the gas now had to explode and pick the light from on top of the gas. And then the gas now had to ignite fire, and then fire everywhere, and then it halted one of the sun. So sometimes there are difference between gas that has oven, and the table gas. I think some people should go for table gas directly than using the gas oven that they don't know how to operate. That is another problem.
Yeah, but whatever you buy, you should learn how to operate it.
Yes, another thing is that sometimes when they go to fill their gas bottle, it has happened to me before, they ask them to fill it very well. When they overfill it, when you get home, it becomes problem. So those are some of the cautions I think people should take.
How does it become a problem?
When you on the gas, you find out that the pressure will be too much.
Oh,
because it's too full.
The pressure will be too much.
There's no vacuum at all. Right. Thank you, Andy.
Let him talk about it.
Thank you. Let me head quickly to Twitter, where we have. Okay, good gracious. Where do I start from? Okay, Austin here says, I think the relevant Gustin rather says, I think the relevant stakeholders in Nigeria have a lot of work to do in educating the public on the use of cooking gas through every medium, TV, radio, and social media. Collins O'Haire says, while the cylinder is outside, is it necessary to always turn it off when not cooking? Is it safe to leave it under the rain and sun? Quick word on this, Mr. Modi.
Yeah, you can leave it on. It is protected. You should try and protect it away from the sunlight and the rain, because they set out the certification comes in faster than you expect to have it.
Okay.
Again, you don't need to be turning it off and on
Because it's outside.
It's outside, just permanently on.
Let me another question on Twitter. Olawale, please, is it safe to keep gas cylinder close to where there are generators?
No.
So when you have a
Capital
tight
no.
compound, how do we manage all of this?
You see, the truth is, the level of awareness need to increase.
Okay.
The more or the closer a cylinder is to a place where heat is generated, the more risky it becomes. We should, as much as possible, keep our cylinders safe in a cool area.
So we should be really looking at issues around building regulations.
Yes.
So that the way the houses are built, very important.
Very, very
I've seen
important.
houses where they have a corner for all generators, another corner for all gas cylinders. Isn't that what we should have?
Something like that.
Let's speak with Peter from Ogun State. Peter, thank you for holding the line.
Yeah, good morning, 94.
Welcome, Peter.
Yeah, actually, I love the program this morning because I was once involved in this same gas situation. Whereby, like, I went to a gas plant where they fill it directly. So after filling it up, the guy that was there was like told me that this gas cylinder is not good. But most like, okay, fine. Although it was not my gas, someone sent me. So I went back and I told the person, this gas is not good. They said you should change it. But the person was like, is it leaking? Is it like this? Again, now, like, people don't listen. They feel like, they know everything. They don't want to go, like, not follow the caution. All we want you, but you guys think like, no, it's not a problem.
Let me manage this for a little more time.
God bless you. That will do. And that's our mentality in this country. We believe that, no, everything is manageable.
All right,
it's
Peter.
So there's a particular day now I was actually cooking with that same gas, you get. Because my own gas finished, I borrowed the gas. I never knew the gas was leaking. Seriously. I want about gas do leak, and whenever gas is leaking, we can perceive it. People need to pay attention to it. That's it. And to God, like that day, I was actually cooking outside. So when the thing was not leaking, I perceived it. So before I could do anything, all the whole thing, like the whole ring on top, started catching fire.
Oh wow!
I swear to God, like I used my bare hand to carry it outside. I swear, like my hand got burnt. But I said, like, there are things that people don't listen to at times.
Peter,
believe that no. Yes.
Peter, thank you so much for calling. Well, let me quickly come to you. What?
We have many messages.
No, I have a question. I have a question for Mr. Isen here, and it's a very valid question, and it's about the scarcity of that product. What is going on?
Well, first of all, we will see from the inception, like Mr. Quadry was saying before we got to the common level of consumption.
Right.
And with the massive awareness that's been going on in terms of deepening the uses of gas, we have a lot of people now embracing the use of gas. But what we have really right now cannot go around everybody. The LNG, that is the major provider of gas in Nigeria, gives 350,000 metric tons per annum. And our current consumption is running very close to 800,000.
Oh, wow.
So where does this difference come from? It comes from importation. And now with the bureaucracy in terms of forex availability, and most times if the weather, like the weather we have outside Nigeria right now in Europe, it's winter. And because of the severity of the winter, the sellers outside, it's more economical for them to sell where they can make more money than coming down here. So if that's the case, definitely you have more demand than the supply. What we're having right now is that issue. And coming back home now, that's what we're asking the LNG. Yes, you produce so much for export, but we can have enough here. If they can equally increase the supply and also the cycle of supply as well. Because right now there's only one vessel that comes from Bonny, Lagos, and shuttles back again, comes with a particular quantity. And this quantity,
and that's all.
The quantity is so small. So
And that's
if
not
this
helping.
can be multiplied or have other vessels to join, definitely we think
we can have enough.
So if you've been wondering why you've not been able to get enough gas to buy, there was a time we were filling half cylinders just some weeks ago. They were rationing sale of gas in my area. But good gracious, we're out of time. But all of these messages, oh my goodness. Okay, let me just take a final one. Someone says he wanted to set up an LPG retail business, but he found it difficult to get the information. So where should he go to? He's registered a business name with CAC but couldn't go further. What should he do? Who can help quickly?
You can visit DPR, visit the fire service, visit the Ministry of Environment in Alausa, and probably
Just find out. Just find out more.
And they are available on the website.
Or just go online and do a quick search, and you know what to do. We need to go now. I wish we could extend this conversation so I could read. Please pardon. Please pardon. I mean, all the messages are so many.
But we won't go without this. Please, the Lagos Emergency Toll-Free number still
Yes, please.
767 or 112
112
on any GSM network, whether you have airtime or not. And the Lagos Fire Hotline is 080-3323-5891.
We're putting that number on Twitter right now. Please call it one more time.
080-3323-5891.
It's already on our Twitter handle at Nigeria Info FM. So if you missed out any digits, go check it out. But if you can't remember anything, remember 112 and 767 for any form of emergency. Mr. S.O. Gumide is the Western Chairman, National Association of Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers. We thank you for coming in today.
Thank you very much.
Also, Mr. Bassi Essien, Executive Secretary of the same association. We thank you for coming.
Thank you very
And
much.
from the Lagos State Fire Service, Mr. Amadu Shakiru, Public Education Officer. Thank you so much for coming. If there's anything you've learned from here, putting your cylinder in the kitchen is a suicide mission. Don't embark on it. We'll see you again tomorrow morning with more on the Morning Crossfire. I'm Wemimo Adewuni.
And I'm Sheriff Quadry.
From your number one talk news and sports station, this is the